الشيطان وليربط على قلوبكم ويثبت به الأقدام.
Remember when he overwhelmed
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لمثل هذا فليعمل العاملون.
لمثل هذا for the like of this فليعمل العاملون. Let those who work for any superior goal work for this, because no goal will be more superior than this, because it has to do with human destiny. فليعمل العاملون.
أذلك خير نزلا أم شجرة الزقوم.
Is this better an abode, or that is paradise better an abode, or the tree of Zakum? That is what was mentioned in terms of the fruits of paradise, the couches, the inmates of paradise will recline on, the spouses, so many means of enjoyment. Are all these better for anyone who dies, or the tree of Zakum? In fact, scholars said here there is no any basis of comparison between the paradise and the hellfire, but only that the Almighty Allah wanted to give them a choice. One can make a choice only when one is still alive. Once one is dead, no choice will be given to him for him to choose where he wants to go. Once he is dead, then he is going to receive the requital for what he has done. أَذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ نُزُلًا. Is that better an abode, or shajarat al-zakum, the tree of Zakum? Zakum, scholars of Tafsir said in the Arabian Peninsula there used to be one tree with a very bitter fruits called Zakum. Others said no, this concept is new. It was brought only by the Holy Quran. Zakum. Whatever be the case, whether there is a tree by this name, that is the tree of Zakum, of course it can in no way be compared with that mentioned here in this chapter, because this one is a tree that grows in the heart of hellfire. So you can see, in fact, there is no way you can compare a tree with bitter fruits with a tree that grows in the heart of hellfire. أَذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ نُزُلًا. Is that better and about, or شَجَرَةُ الزَّقُومِ, or the tree of Zakum?
جَعَلْنَاهَا فِتْنَةً لِلظَّالِمِينَ.
When the tree was mentioned, not only here in the chapter of Surat Al-Isra, the Almighty Allah said, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الرُّؤْيَا الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ وَالشَّجَرَةَ الْمَلْعُونَةَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَنُخَوِّفُهُمْ فَمَا يَزِيدُهُمْ إِلَّا طُغْيَانًا كَبِيرًا. In fact, O Prophet of God, the dream we have shown you, in which we showed you the tree of Zakum, we made it a test, a trial for the unbelievers, and the cursed tree of Zakum, because when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned this tree for the unbelievers, they started mocking the message and mocking the Muslims. In fact, sometimes they even made it a term of mockery. Whenever Abu Jahl would want to mock somebody, he would tell them that he want to mock Islam. He will tell his friends that, look, Muhammad promised us that there is a tree growing in the hellfire. Imagine a tree growing in the hellfire. How on earth a tree can grow in the hellfire? In fact, hell naturally burns trees. But according to Muhammad, there is a tree that will grow in the heart of the hellfire. And he even threatened us that we are going to be made to consume the fruits of that tree. That is why the Almighty Allah said here, Inna ja'alnaha fitnatan lizzalimin. Certainly we have made the mention of this tree a test, a trial for the disbelieving criminals. That is the unbelievers, so that they will keep mocking this until when they die, then they will wake up to the reality where there will be no going back. Fitnatul Zalimin.
إنها شجرة تخرج في أصل الجحيم.
This is a tree, the Almighty Allah continues, this is a tree تخرج في أصل, then that grows in the heart of the hellfire. نعم دلوها
طلعها كأنه رؤوس الشياطين.
The fruits of the tree are like the heads of the devils. Here, the Almighty Allah exemplified the fruits of the tree with the heads of the devils. So we have never seen the devils physically, but the fruits are compared with the heads of the devil. Sukara said, in the common Arabic speech, they always compare things of extraordinary beauty with angels. That whenever they come to exemplify things that are of extraordinary beauty, they compare them with, they exemplify them with angels. Just like in the chapters Joseph, Surat Yusuf alayhi salam, when the women of Egypt saw Prophet Joseph, they said, Hasha lillahi ma haza bashara, in haza illa malakun kareem. They said, glorified be the Almighty Allah, that this is not a human being, rather he is an honorable angel, malakun kareem. So you can see, because of his extraordinary handsomeness, they compare him with angel. So is the case with things that are of extraordinary ugliness, are normally exemplified with devils. This is one. Secondly, since it is the Holy Quran that said it, is the Almighty Allah that knows the heads of the angel of devils. The Almighty Allah that knows how devils are created and how they look, how their heads are compared, exemplified the fruit of this tree with the heads of devil. So we must believe that the fruits of that tree look like the heads of the devils, as stated here in the Holy Quran.
فإنهم لآكلون منها فمالئون منها البطون.
فإنهم لآكلون منها. The unbelievers would most assuredly be made to consume the fruits of that tree that grows in the heart of the hellfire. لآكلون منها فمالئون منها البطون, and they will be made to fill their bellies with the fruits of that tree.
ثم إن لهم عليها لشوبا من حميم.
Because of the terrible nature of the tree, even the hellfire itself takes refuge to the Almighty Allah against the fruits of that tree. Imagine a tree, the fruits of which the hellfire take refuge from the Almighty against such fruits. That is why the inmates of hellfire will be taken out of the fire for the consumption of the fruits of the tree. Since the hellfire has already taken refuge against the fruits of the tree, so they will be taken out. So they will be taken out to a particular place between يطوفون بينها هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون in Surah Ar-Rahman يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن. Between Jahannam and Hamim there is a particular place where those unbelievers will be made to stay there for the consumption of the fruits of that tree, and they will be made to drink scalding water, boiling water, after having consumed the fruits of the tree. And the boiling water will tear their bowels before they will be taken back to the hellfire for further punishment. A'udhu billah. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَآكِلُونَ مِنْهَا. They will be made to eat the fruits of the tree. فَمَالِئُونَ مِنْهَا الْبُطُونَ. And they will fill their bellies. Naturally, whoever eats to his satisfaction will definitely need some water. That is why after the consumption of the fruits of the tree, they will be made to drink boiling water as a drink after the consumption of the fruits. That is between the Jahim and Hamim, Jahannam and Hamim. They will be taken out to a particular zone where they will be stationed for the consumption of the fruits of that tree, and they will be made to drink the scalding water after the consumption. And not only is the water scalding and boiling, the water is mixed with the fruits of that tree that they ate, so as to aggravate the pain as well as the punishment. فَمَالِ إِنَّ لَوْ عَلَيْهَا لَشَوْبًا مِنْ حَمِيمٍ ثُمَّ إِنَّ مَرْجِعَهُمْ
لَإِلَى الْجَحِيمِ.
After this consumption of the fruits of the tree, as well as the consumption of the scalding water, they will be taken back. Inna marji'ahum, their return will be to where? Ilal jahim, to the fire. You can see, that's why I said they will be taken out of the hellfire to a particular place between the jahim and hamim, a very hot spot outside the hellfire for the consumption of the fruits of the tree as well as the scalding water, after which they will be taken back to the hellfire for further punishment. Summa inna marji'ahum, then their return will be certainly ila al-jahim, to the hellfire.
إِنَّهُ أَلْفَوْا آبَاءَهُمْ ضَالِّينَ.
As if somebody asks, oh God, why all this? These poor creatures, you created them yourself, you brought them into the world, and how would they be punished in such a terrible manner? He said, because innahum alfaw aba'ahum dallin. They came to synchronize their forebears being astray. They came and encountered their forebears being astray, instead of them to accept the message preached to them, because their crime is not only following their forebears while the forebears are astray, but the rejection of the message. Because the Almighty Allah has already made it clear, He will never punish any nation that did not receive a message. وَمَا كُنَّا مُؤَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا وَمَا كُنَّا مُهْلِكَ الْقُرَىٰ إِلَّا وَأَهْلُهَا ظَالِمُونَ. We will never punish the people of any city except when they reject a message they receive from the Almighty Allah. Either they synchronize the Prophet, or they synchronize the message after the departure of the Prophet. Just like us here, we have not synchronized the Prophet, yet we synchronize the message. And the message is still here with us up to the end of the world. Innam alfaw aba'ahum dallin. They encountered their forebears they synchronize their forebears being astray, instead of them to accept the message, since clear proofs have already been provided in the Holy Quran beyond any matter of doubt that there is only one and single God worthy of being worshipped, and He has no any partner in His right to lordship, subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَهُمْ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ يُهْرَعُونَ
فهم على آثارهم يهرعون.
Then they kept following vigorously the footsteps of their forebears without them accepting the message. Whenever they are preached with Islamic monotheism, their persistent response is Inna wajadna aba'ana ala ummatin fahum ala wa inna ala sayrin mutadun. We have already found our forebears on a track. We found them ala ummatin bimana ala tariqatin ala sunnatin, on a particular way, and we don't want to deviate from their way. We don't want to follow any other way but the way of our forebears. That is the response of the Meccan pagans to the message. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ preached to them, they will say, we have encountered our forebears on a particular path, so we will not deviate from their path. وَإِنَّ عَلَىٰ سَيْرٍ مُوتَدُونَ فَهُمْ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ يُهْرَعُونَ.
وَلَقَدْ ضَلَّ قَبْلَهُمْ أَكْثَرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ.
O Prophet of God, let them know that they are not the first nation to disbelieve. وَلَقَدْ certainly ضَلَّ قَبْلَهُمْ أَكْثَرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. Those who came before them, most of them have gone astray. Those who came before the Meccan pagans, right from the beginning of the time when the message started descending down here, most of the nations rejected vehemently the messages they received. قَبْلَهُمْ أَكْثَرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. Most of the bygone generations have gone astray, قَبْلَهُمْ, before them, meaning before the Meccan pagans.
وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا فِيهِمْ مُنذِرِينَ.
Certainly we have sent them warners. We have sent those nations warners among them, so as to warn them against polytheism, but they did not take heed.
فانظر كيف كان عاقبة المنذرين. إلا عباد الله المخلصين.
Except of course the true servants of Allah, al-mukhlasin, those who are endowed with sincerity in their faith and in their actions. Those who are endowed with sincerity, those true servants of Allah were delivered along with their prophets. They were not among those who were destroyed.
وَلَقَدْ نَادَانَا نُوحًا فَلَنِعْمَ الْمُجِيبُونَ.
By way of parable of bygone generations who received messages yet rejected the messages, who received messages at the hands of their prophets, yet they disbelieved in the messages. By way of example, the first prophet ever sent to polytheists was Prophet Noah. He was sent to his people. He was the first prophet that struggled against polytheism, against idol worshipping, against idolatry. Before him was, of course, Prophet Adam. Adam was sent to his children. So there was no paganism, there was no idol worshipping during the time of Adam. While Prophet Sheikh that came after Adam, who was the first son of Adam that was appointed a prophet, Prophet Sheikh alayhi salam, did not struggle against paganism because paganism did not exist in those days. So was the case with Prophet Enoch, the grandchild of Prophet Sheikh alayhi salam. That is his Arabic name, of course, Prophet Idris alayhi salam. And Prophet Noah was the first prophet ever sent to idol worshippers. وَلَقَدْ نَادَيْنَا نُوحٌ. Here, parables will be provided by the Almighty Allah source to console our dear Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was not the first prophet to be disbelieved. Prophets before him were equally disbelieved and rejected by their people. But what was the end of those who rejected them? Of course, the end was terrible. They were utterly destroyed. وَلَقَدْ نَادَانَا نُوحٌ. Suddenly, Prophet Noah called us. فَلَنِيمَ الْمُجِيبُونَ. How excellent we are in answering his call, said the Almighty Allah. فَلَنِيمَ الْمُجِيبُونَ. How did he call? The call, the detail of the call, the details of Prophet Noah's prayer is not mentioned here. It's mentioned elsewhere in the Holy Quran. That is in the chapter Surat al-Qamar, as well as the chapter Surat al-Shu'ara. In Surat al-Qamar he said, فَدَعَا رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَغْلُوبٌ فَانْتَصِرْ فَفَتَحْنَا أَبْوَابَ السَّمَاءِ بِمَاءٍ مُنْهَمِرٍ وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا فَالْتَقَى الْمَاءُ عَلَى أَمْرٍ قَدْ قُدِرَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُ عَلَى ذَاتِ أَلْوَاحٍ وَدُسُرٍ تَجْرِي بِأَعْيُنِنَا جَزَاءً لِمَنْ كَانَ كُفِرَ وَلَوْ تَرَكْنَاهَا آيَةً فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. فَدَعَا رَبَّهُ, that Noah invoked to his, that is, he invoked to his Lord, he prayed to his Lord saying, Anni maglubun fantasir. Oh my Lord, I am overpowered by my people. I desperately need your help and intervention. The Almighty Allah intervened. He said, فَفَتَانَا أَبْوَابَ السَّمَاءِ بِمَاءٍ مُنْهَمِرٍ. We opened the doors of the sky with heavy water. بِمَاءٍ مُنْهَمِرٍ وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا فَالْتَقَى الْمَاءُ عَلَى أَمْرٍ. When we caused the water to gush from the earth, فَالْتَقَى الْمَاءُ عَلَى أَمْرٍ قَدْ. And the water coming down from the sky, as well as the one gushing from the earth, was made to form a heavy flood, a huge flood that consumed the entire globe as a response to the prayer of Prophet Noah. وَلَقَدْ نَادَانَا نُوحٌ. Certainly Prophet Noah called us. فَلَنِيمَ الْمُجِيبُ. How excellent we are in answering his prayer.
وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ.
نَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ. We delivered him along with him, his people, as he said, إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. We delivered him and his people وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ, from the terrible agony, from the huge agony. That is Al-Karbul Azim, meaning Prophet Noah spent 1,000 years less 50 preaching to his people. He was inheriting them generation after generation. The first generation he was sent to persisted in their unbelief up to the end of their lives, instead of them to die quietly. But they wanted to pass the tradition of idolatry to their next generation, to their children. So each one of them, whenever he came to die, he will pick his child, he will take him to Prophet Noah and said, look at this old man. You see him? Even after my death, don't follow him. Don't listen to him. Do you hear me? Quit not to listen to him up to the end of their lifespan. Then they too, in their turn, will bring their children and warn them against him. That look at this old man. As we bring you here, so did our forebears. So did our fathers bring us here. And they told us that their fathers too brought them here to him, that they shouldn't follow this old man. So you too, we are warning you, shouldn't follow him even after our demise. So when they are no more, Prophet Noah will continue preaching to their children. They in their turn, at the zenith of their lifespan, they will pick their children and their words to him and warn them against him. That's how he kept inheriting them generation after generation up to 950 years. At that point in time, the Almighty Allah revealed to him and told him that وَأُوهِيَ إِلَى نُوحٍ أَنَّهُ لَنْ يُؤْمِنَ مِنْ قَوْمِكَ إِلَّا مَنْ قَدْ آمَنَ. The Almighty Allah said, an inspiration was sent down to know that none will ever convert in your people except those who have already converted. There will be no further conversion. So none will ever believe in you except those who have already believed. So this is a divine word. Of course, he will expect no change, right? So when he heard this, he said, oh my dear Lord, since there will be no further conversion, I can see no reason why they should be spared. Because even if you spare them, they will keep bringing their children, warning them against me, and they will never believe. And they in their turn, when they come to the end of their life, they will warn their children against me as well. In fact, it even reached to a point where one of the children that was brought by his father, when the father finished warning him against Noah, he said, oh my dear father, let me show you that you have no cause to worry in your grave. That boy picked a stone and stoned Prophet Noah, A'udhu Billah, to show the father that he shouldn't worry in his grave that the child will follow this old man. So with this inspiration coming down from the Almighty Allah that there will be no further conversion, Prophet Noah reached conclusion that to spare this man will be of no avail. In fact, it amounted to tragedy sparing them. So he prayed to the Almighty Allah that, oh my Lord, Rabbi la tazar ala al-ardi min al-kafirina dayyaran innaka in tazarhum yudillu ibadaka wa la yalidu illa fajiran kaffara. Oh my Lord, don't spare any single unbeliever on the earth, because even if you do, they will keep misleading your servant, your innocent servant that will be born. That is the later generation. They will keep misleading them, and they will never, from experience, I know they will never give birth to any righteous son. Because as long as they will keep that tradition of warning their children against me, that means, of course, the tradition will continue. And they will never give birth to any decent child, wala yalidu. They will never give birth to except fajiran, a criminal, kafaran, and an unbeliever. So with this, the Almighty Allah sent a terrific flood against them. فَأَخَذَهُمُ الطُّوفَانُ وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ فَأَنْجَيْنَاهُ وَأَصْحَابَ السَّفِينَةِ وَجَعَلْنَا آيَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Almighty Allah said, the terrific flood overtook them, and we delivered him along with the people of the ark. He was commanded by God to construct a big ark. On that ark, the Almighty Allah ordered him to fill it with all sorts of species as well as believing servants, and of course from every species just pick one couple, that is male and female, is enough, because the ark will not have sufficient capacity to convey all the living creatures. So a single couple of every living creature is enough, except the believers. Of course, the believers were all conveyed in that ark, 80 of them, 40 male and 40 females, along with Prophet Noah alayhi salam and his children. We delivered him along with his people min al-karb al-azim, from a huge agony, min al-karb al-azim. And here After the ark settled on the mountain of Judi, as stated in another chapter, Surat Hud, where the Almighty Allah said, وَقِيدَ الْمَاءُ وَقُدِيَ الْأَمْرُ وَاسْتَوَتْ عَلَى الْجُودِ. When the flood was over, the ark settled on the mountain of Judi. So all the believing servants conveyed in that ark were caused to die quietly, with the exception of the children of Prophet Noah. That is his 3 children, Sam, Ham, and Yafis, as the following verse will state.
وَجَعَلْنَا ذُرِّيَّتَهُ هُمُ الْبَاقِينَ.
وَجَعَلْنَا ذُرِّيَّتَهُ هُمُ الْبَاقِينَ. Certainly we have made his progeny, we have made his offspring the only surviving human community on earth. The progeny of Noah was the only surviving human community on the earth. All else were caused to die, even the believing servants. They were all caused to die. With Allah's relative, we have made his offspring, humul baqina, the only surviving community on the earth after the flood. That is Sam, Ham, and Yafis. Why they said Sam? That is why you hear Jews calling themselves Shemites. Shemites mean the grandchildren of Sam, the son of Noah. Sam was the grandfather of Abraham. By this, he is automatically the grandfather of Arabs, as well as Jews and Christians. That is Jews, Arabs and Jews and Romans. He was their grandfather, Sam. And Ham was the one that fathered African people as well as the Asian people, places like India, Bangladesh, and so on and so forth. They said they descended from Ham. While Yafis was the grandfather of Turks, Chinese, and peoples of the Far Asia, just like places like Korea and so on and so forth. That is what scholars said. Ham was the first human being that gave birth to a black child among the children of Noah. Of course, his wife was white in complexion, and so was he. The first black child was born by Ham, the son of Noah. And he, of course, gave birth to white children as well. People from Asia, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all those places, Sri Lanka, were fathered by him, as well as Africans. So that is that. So now today, there is no any human being that did not descend from Prophet Noah, wherever I see in the world. That is why scholars used to call him Adam Usani, Adam the second. Just like Adam fathered the whole human beings, so did Prophet Noah fathered the whole surviving human beings. All surviving human beings descended from him, alayhi salam. With Allah's zurriyatahu, we made his offspring, humul baqina, the only surviving human community.
وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ.
وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ. We have left for him a good name in those who came after him. That is why today there is no any religion, even if it is a pagan creed, that even if it is polytheism, there is no any religion or any creed that is not proud of Noah as a grandfather. Why? Because of the services he rendered to the Almighty Allah with all sincerity. That is why today there is no any human community that is not proud of Noah as a grandfather, alayhi salam. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ.
سلام على نوح في العالمين.
May peace be upon Noah in the whole world, of course, and in the world to come. That is the common title of all the prophets In the subsequent verses, he will mention Abraham. He will say Salamun ala Ibrahim. In the later verses, he will mention Musa wa Harun. He will say Salamun ala Musa wa Harun. In the later verses, at the end of the chapter, before the end of the chapter, he will say Salamun ala Ali Yasin. Then at the end of the chapter, he will say Subhana, because it's a Masifuna wa Salamun ala Musa in all of them. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. That's the end of the chapter. Salamun ala Nuhin fil Alameen. Peace be upon Noah in all the worlds. That is, there is no any human community that is not proud to identify with Noah as a father, alayhi salam.
Inna kadhalika najzil muhsinin.
It is in this manner that we always reward our servants who are committed to doing good deeds. Our servants that are committed to doing righteous deeds. It is in this manner that we always reward them. Of course they will suffer. In fact, there is no any figure in the whole human history that stand out as a leader in the whole human history that did not suffer. You have a choice. Either to suffer and you get rewarded as Prophet Noah suffered and was rewarded by the Almighty Allah, or you avoid suffering, you enjoy yourself, and you just come and go as, in fact, history will have nothing to remember you with. And in fact, there is no way you can be cited as an example for the later generations to emulate, because you left no legacy. It is in this way that we always reward our servants that are committed to doing righteous deeds.
Innahu min ibadina al-mu'minin.
Noah was among our believing servants, in fact a leader of the believers. They used to call him Sheikh al-Anbiya, the old man of the prophets, because he lived longer than any other prophet. Prophet Adam spent only 1,000 years in the world. But Prophet Noah, they said even before his appointment as a prophet, he lived for 250 years. At least that is the minimum age mentioned for him before his appointment as a prophet. Some scholars of history maintain that he lived for 350 years before his appointment as a prophet. But there is, in fact, there is no any literature that mentioned for him anything less than 250 years before his appointment as a prophet. And after the flood, and he spent 950 years preaching. When you add this to 250, you have how? 1,200 years, right? And after the flood, he spent 350 years as well. So he lived for 1,550 years, at least. At least. This is the minimum age mentioned for him, alayhi salam. That's why they call him Sheikh al-Anbiya. That is the elderly man, the elderly person among the prophets, the eldest of all the prophets, alayhi salam. And they said when the angel of death came visiting at the end of his life, he asked him, "Oh no, you are the son of Adam that survived much, much longer than any other human being. So can you tell us your experience of the worldly life before your exit, so that people will have this as first-hand experience, because they hear it from somebody who experienced it, right? What is your experience about life?" He said, "It's just like an edifice with an entrance and an exit. I got in, I'm now getting out. No more, no less. All what I have to show for all this age is what I have already sown in terms of the services I render to the Almighty Allah, if accepted. by him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can see the conditionality here. That is, if the services are accepted by the Almighty Allah. And inna kazalika najzil muslimin, inna min ibadina, certainly no is among our believing servants. ثم
أغرقنا الآخرين.
Having delivered him, along with him all his people, then we caused the rest to drown. All the whole world was drowned in the water of the flood. In fact, even the holy Kaaba had to be lifted to the heaven, because the whole world was consumed by the flood.
وَإِنَّ مِن شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ.
Certainly, among those who inherited Prophet Noah, among his offsprings, the most prominent of them, in fact, one of the most prominent of his offsprings is Abraham, alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim. Shia literally means people, followers, committed followers. That is what we call loyal followers. That is what we call Shia. That is the literal meaning of the word. The present day well-known Shiite derive their name from the time after the departure of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when the companions of Medina swore allegiance to Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Allah well pleased with him. Some people who did not share the same opinion with the companions in terms of swearing allegiance to Abu Bakr retired to the house of Imam Ali, so they were called Shi'atu Aliyin, the loyal people of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And in those days there was no any antagonism between those who did not share the same view with the companions who swore allegiance. No. It was a simple disagreement in opinion. And they saw no reason why they should be condemning each other. In fact, there was no any condemnation from either of the two sides. After 6 months, Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam died. Sayyidina Ali invited Abu Bakr to his house, and he sorted things out with him, and he gave his allegiance to him. Of course, I know some Shiites might not share this opinion with us. They might not agree with this version of the history. But we are all agreed that Sayyidina Ali did not take to arms against the administration of Abu Bakr. Neither did he take to arms against the administration of Umar or Usman. So if he believed that those people betrayed the Prophet ﷺ, he would have taken to arms against them, as he did against the people of Syria when he was sworn into the office, right? When he was sworn into the office, after the massacre of Usman ibn Affan, Allah well pleased with him, Imam Ali, when he was sworn into the office of the Prophet, the people of Syria revolted against him. They did not swear allegiance to him, and he took to arms against them. Of course, had he not agreed to the leadership of Abu Bakr, he would have taken arms against Abu Bakr and Umar. He wouldn't fear them. Why would he? After all, Inna Allah ishtara minal mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum bi anna lahumul jannah. The Almighty Allah has already bought over the lives of the believers and their wealth, and He will pay them with paradise in the hereafter. Why would he fear anything? As a common believer, let alone Al-Imam Ali. You can see this? Meaning that even in their own version of the history, they believe that Ali did not fight the government of Abu Bakr. No, nor did he fight the government of Umar or Usman. Why didn't he? Because he saw legitimacy in their government. He would have fought them. as he did fight the people of Syria when they revolted against him. You can see? وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيَّتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ. So it's very dangerous for somebody to follow these people that will teach him how to insult Abu Bakr and Umar, Aisha and Hafsa. And they, in fact, how would he believe that the Prophet ﷺ will keep bad company? Would even marry their daughters? Why? In that case, why didn't he marry the daughter of Abu Jahl? Do you think Abu Jahl did not have daughters? He did. Why the daughter of Abu Bakr and Umar? Why? Why didn't he marry the daughter of Abdullah ibn Ubayyin, the leader of the Munafiqs, the leader of the hypocrites? Why? So why was he under compulsion to marry those daughters of the companions? He was under no compulsion to marry them. Why would he marry women that are not chaste? Somebody called me once upon a time on phone and asked me, please, I want to ask a question. I said, what is that? He says, somebody is, I come across somebody insulting Aisha. A'udhu billah. Why is he? He's with me right now. I said, please ask him for me. Does he have a mother? He said, of course he does. Does he have any respect for her? He said, of course he does. I said, then what does he want to tell us? Does he want to tell us that his father is more dignified by Allah than the Prophet? That's why his father was endowed with righteous woman as a wife, while the Prophet was given, a'udhu billah, a bad woman as a wife? Does he want to tell us that the Almighty Allah considers his father more entitled to a righteous woman as a wife than his Prophet? In that case, then why was his father not a prophet? Right? In fact, a better prophet, since he is more entitled to a righteous woman as a wife, while the Prophet ﷺ is not, a'udhu billah. Or does he want to tell us that it is the Almighty Allah that tried to endow his prophet with a righteous woman, but all things did not work out that way? Is it possible? Or only that the Almighty Allah decided to endow his father with a righteous woman as a wife, yet he gave the Prophet ﷺ a bad woman as a wife? Is it possible? Then you want to tell us that his father is more dignified by Allah than the Prophet. A'udhu billah. And Hafsa, the daughter of Umar, radiallahu anhu. So it's very dangerous for a Muslim to indulge in insulting. Let's just be a bit more logical. Take for example, after our days, we wake up on the resurrection day, and let's just assume the worst. A'udhu billah. Let's assume the worst. What is the worst? That when we wake up after the resurrection, we found out that all the claims of Shiite were right. A'udhu billah. Do you think that if we did not insult them, the Almighty Allah will punish us for not insulting them? Even if what they said is right? Even if the claims of Shiite is right, and we died without us insulting any of the companions or any of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, do you think that the Almighty Allah will hold us to ransom for that? He will not. Because we are under no obligation to insult anybody, even the devil. Are we? Then which one is the safest way? Of course, to avoid insulting anybody, right? And let's assume, of course, what we know, inshallah, that's what is going to happen. That after our resurrection, we find out that their claims are false, as they really are, right? And the Shiites said, oh our Lord, we are sorry, we didn't know that it was all fabrications. That's why we were insulting them. So we hope you will accept our excuse here. If the Almighty Allah will accept the excuse, then we will accept the excuse of Abu Jahl, right? He too can say, I'm sorry, my Lord. I didn't know that Muhammad was right in his claim that he was a prophet. So please grant me a grace period or a respite. Take me back to the world so that I will worship you. If you think Abu Jahl can be excused, then you too should be expectant of divine excuse. So which one is the safest way? Not to believe in it, right? See, it's not an article of belief, it is it? If it were, it would have been embedded in the Holy Quran, right? But it is not. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيئَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ. Certainly among his offsprings, those who inherited his message, among them was Abraham. You hear some were condemned to hellfire for following their forefathers, right? إِنَّمْ أَلْفَوْا آبَأَهُمْ ضَالِّينَ فَهُمْ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ يُهْرَعُونَ. They encountered their forefathers being astray, they encountered them going astray, and they followed their footsteps in misguidance, right? And they were taken to hellfire for that reason. Abraham was a grandchild to Prophet Noah, and he encountered the path of Prophet Noah as the righteous path, and he followed it. And of course, he is one of the most dignified servants of Allah. You can see, it's not following forefathers that matters here. What matters is, are they astray or are they aright? After all, Prophet Joseph, in the chapter Joseph, was boastful while mentioning his lineage. He said, إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ مِلَّةَ قَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ كَافِرُونَ وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. I have forsaken the path of the people who did not believe in the Almighty Allah and the last day, and I followed the path of my forebears, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You can see, he said, مَا كَانَ أَنْ نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. In our tradition, we are not at all, we have never practiced idolatry in our tradition. We have never associated any partner to the Almighty Allah. That's how I inherited it from my forebears. You can see a prophet saying that he followed the path of his forebears, yet he is still a prophet. He is not following the path of your forefather. That is wrong. It depends on which path they are following. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيَئَتِهِ. Among the progeny of Prophet Noah was Prophet Abraham. إِذْ جَاءَ رَبَّهُ.
Somebody was asking, what is the basis of nikah and mutua in Islam? Did he has any Quranic support?
Nikah al-mut'a, or temporary marriage, or periodical marriage, was legalized once, and then the legitimacy was withdrawn and legalized once again, and then the validity was withdrawn for a second time and the third time. That is why there is complexity in the issue. Nikah al-mut'a, there was a time when the Prophet ﷺ set out on a journey. He legalized it. What caused the legalization or legitimization of this kind of marriage was that the Prophet ﷺ got wind of the plan of some of his companions that they were going to mutilate their private part. Why? Because they said while on a journey they were so homesick. They wanted to see their wives. They started developing some desire to their wives. They said, of what use is this? While we are with the Prophet here on a journey, on an expedition, on jihad, and why would we feel lonely? Why would we feel that we want to see our wives? So if it is because we are well and sound, that we have private organs, let's just mutilate them, so that from now on we'll have no cause to even have a desire of a woman. When he learned about their plan, he called them. He said, no, 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 no. It's not allowed in Islam. Rather, what you're going to do, you go around here, whoever come across any lady, he can go into contact with her of a marriage for a while before we leave this place. So the companion that reported the tradition went there. He said, I set out with my brother, although I am more handsome than him. I am more handsome and younger than him. Then we went around and we came across one lady, a very beautiful lady. We asked her, would you agree to marry either of us for a period of our stay here? She said, what do you have to offer in terms of dowry? We all presented our upper garment, our mantle, upper mantle. This is what you have to offer. So my mantle is worn out, while the mantle of my cousin brother is new. And I'm much younger than he. I'm more handsome. So she will look at his mantle, I'll look at my face. She looked a bit undecided. Then after some few minutes, she settled on me. So we got married and we stayed there. After some 3 days, the Prophet ﷺ issued a public announcement that all those who got married periodically should disengage those ladies and leave them, as we are setting out to continue our journey to Mecca. They left, in fact, they were on their way to Mecca from Medina. And this was invalidated. That is, it was delegitimized. It was illegal. The Prophet ﷺ declared it illegal after this occasion. Later on, it was legalized on a similar occasion while they were on a journey. The third time, then at long last, then it was good. Grant good has Maulana Sheikh, may God prolong his lifespan.
قالوا ربنا أمتنا اثنتين وأحييتنا اثنتين فاعترفنا بذنوبنا فهل إلى خروج من سبيل. الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم